my chat not working?
It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, almost.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. December 30th.
Yes, I've already lost my tan. Isn't that sad?
I have a cold, so I don't know what's worse. So sorry if I sound a little extra raspy today. Big show. We're going to update the ongoing World Championships.
Yep.
Fantastic.
It's going well.
Fantastic matches today and yesterday. I know it's the holidays and it's supposed to be everybody's favorite time of year, but for the last, 6-7 years, it's my favorite time of year because I get to watch these guys play.
Right.
And it is really something. I mean, it's not just inspiring, but it's the one time of year where I feel like, we're covering a sport. As hard as we try, doing stuff in America and we try to touch on what goes on in Canada. I mean, that's the real deal.
Yeah.
And so we'll catch everybody up on that if you haven't had, 70 hours to watch darts like some of us have had. And at the end of the show, we'll do Player of the Year and Outstanding Player of 2014, according to the powers that be at Dart Talk, who have not fired us lately. You want to disclaim away?
Let's.
All right.
Somewhere.
Yes.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
Okay, so there we go.
Enough said.
It was kind of funny, I criticized Martle, Wayne Martle, who was commentating on some of the matches last week.
Yeah.
And you can just listen to last week's show and to hear the criticism of Martle, because he sure didn't change. I don't think he's listening to the show. So he's still...
that would surprise me.
He's still a homer.
Okay.
And he's critical of up-and-coming players, and then the established guys, never make a mistake.
Can't do anything wrong.
It just didn't happen, kind of thing. But it was funny. They had Eric Bristow. I can't remember what match Eric Bristow was commentating on, and it was really funny. He just did this, he just kept talking, this stream of consciousness thing for 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time, and I'm like, hey, he could do this show, right?
Yeah.
So I actually,
he'd fit right in.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed listening to him. I mean, and again, he's making fun of the imaginary darts and saying, well, Scotty Kirchner needed 4 darts, right? And I'm like, hey, you could give that up now. I mean, he was out a week ago.
Yeah.
Quit picking on the guy, so I actually was going to reach out and give him a call, but I haven't had time to call anyone. So where do you want to start? You want to start with where we left off last week as far as the PDC goes? Because I think we have about the same number of matches that we had last week, so we'll try to keep it moving here.
Yeah, this is day 7. We ended after day 6.
Right. And okay, you'll have to read the match off to me. I think day 7 I saw most of them.
Okay, well, Andy Hamilton defeats Kyle Anderson 4-2.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kyle Anderson. I liked his whole approach. And to be honest, I don't like watching Andy Hamilton play. I really don't.
I think you've said that before.
And I'm sure he's a wonderful human being, and I don't mean to be constantly ripping on the guy. It's just the way he plays. It looks clunky. It looks clunky, and it looks unnatural, and it looks forced. Mm-hmm. And it's just aesthetically not as pleasing as, Kyle Anderson, who, was playing really well. And then, it was him, and then the other match that day, was kind of weird. These guys never really seemed to establish themselves at the Aki. They never seemed to. It's Kyle Anderson, and I forget who's the next match.
Was it Cristo Reyes?
Yeah.
Kevin Painter.
Yeah, it was weird. They both seemed to struggle with pace. And, Kyle Anderson was doing the same thing I saw Jamie Caven doing later in a later match, where I don't know if it was fatigue or what the deal was, but if you watch, like they started like leaning too far forward on their third dart and kind of lunged on the follow through. It's noticeable if you're looking for it, and invariably, they're missing. And I don't know if that's tension or fatigue that would make them do that.
Nerves.
But yeah, Cristo was nervous. Cristo was visibly nervous. He played Kevin Painter in the match after Anderson. After Hamilton and
Anderson, right?
And Kyle Anderson, right? I was thinking of Gary. Yeah, so
Correct.
The Kyle Anderson match, I kind of wanted to see him play better, and he got literally outplayed. He got ground into the dust by Andy Hamilton, and that's what a veteran professional darter will do if you start missing.
Yeah, their stats are about the same. He just missed more doubles.
Yeah, and he missed crucial doubles. Mm-hmm. And, it's kind of one of those things where I've said this to you, when you move up and you start playing in like the upper echelons of the league, you don't get more than one round at a double.
Right.
And with these guys, it's basically, your third dart. If it's at a double and you don't hit it,
good luck.
The majority of times you're not going to see it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny.
That's a lot of pressure, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just another double to hit. I mean, how many times have you taken out 60 or 76 or, 86 or, whatever? I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, you've seen me play 01. You see the kind of things I do to get myself under 90 or under 80 or under 95, so I get that one extra dart at a double. Some of these guys don't do it, and it costs them. When you have a choice of leaving 82 and 77, and you keep picking 82,
right?
The numbers are going to catch up with you.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys hit so many, ton 40s and ton 80s, they probably figure they don't need that extra round. But if they look at the tape, I don't know.
When you're playing that competition,
I mean, it's one of those deals where, like, it's kind of like baseball, where I tell you, when you have 2 on and nobody out, that's a mandatory bunt situation, unless it's your 3 or 4 hitter, maybe your 5 hitter. But
nowadays
nobody does it. Well, the percentages haven't changed.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that nobody wants to bunt.
Well, the percentages have changed that the people can't bunt.
Well,
that's the problem.
Bunting, you can teach that to a 7-year-old. So I mean, it's not like they can't.
But for some reason they don't. But
well, they don't want to work on fundamentals.
Though,
I mean, they don't. The fundamentals don't change.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really good at throwing the dart behind your back into the board, great. But you're not going to be a better player doing that. So that's all I got to say about that. So every now and then there were some puzzling choices, and I don't know if guys are kind of miscounting, but it looks to me like, their habit is like, when in doubt, throw it at the trip 20, and, odds are it'll go in. That seems to be the collective thinking of the majority, not the Dutch, but the majority of the British pros seem to do that. So, all right, so
then Christian Reyes, as we said, beat Kevin Painter 4-3.
Yeah, so impressed with him. He fell behind, and he just it was weird. He ground to a halt. I've played Kevin, and Kevin, plays. He's quick. He's not ultra quick like Jelle Klaassen or Van de Voort, but he's a very fast player. He wants to get in a rhythm. He wants to get to the line. He wants the darts in his hand right away, and he was sucking Reyes in. And then every now and then, Reyes realized he was getting sucked in and literally stopped. And then he would throw one dart.
Would that upset
and then
Kevin?
Stop. I don't think it really upset him, but it didn't help him.
Mm-hmm.
But, Reyes is like, trying to find his game so he could play his game against Painter, and eventually he did. And, Painter kind of ran out of gas, and Reyes got him in the end. And I was like, that kid's,
Kevin Painter's numbers are better.
Yeah. Yeah, but, the odd double here or there at the right time, and then Reyes finished in the last set. Reyes, I think he went like 13-11 in the last two legs. And it's like, hey, give him credit. He hung in there. You could have put him away because I think Painter was up 2-0, right? He could have put him away, and he didn't. So I was at of this tournament, the one guy that I'm really going to be like, wow, check him out.
Mm-hmm.
As Max Hopp didn't really do much. His second time up. Michael Smith. He's going to be there for the next 20 years. I think mentally, is going to be the struggle for him. He may turn into James Wade, who turned into James Wade, by the way.
He became the original James Wade.
So he was caught wearing the James Wade mask. So Cristo Reyes, I was really impressed with his game. I really, So he got by Painter 4-3. Really fun match to watch.
Right.
And I kind of liked him. So who's after that?
He was a qualifier, right?
He was a qualifier.
Right.
Yeah. He's been doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been doing just great.
Kim Hybricks wins 4-3 over Ian White.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We've talked about, emotional players. Go ahead and be emotional if it's genuine, right? But, I think Hybricks started crossing the line with Ian White and doing this total grandstanding. Everybody acts as if, their best friend is sitting right next to the cameraman because they look over to the left and make all these faces. Okay, it's television. I get it. And all that. But at some point, it's like, no, I'm sorry. But,
okay,
and Ian White, my God, the guy threw like 10 or 11 ton 80s. I mean, he
10.
At 10. At times, he just played absolutely flawless, but something happened to him mentally, and he just stopped playing the game. It was
really?
Weird.
Really?
Yeah, and afterward, Taylor was saying stuff about how, well, Hybrick's got in his head, that won't work with me.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about, somebody hits a big shot and then they're going to pose and do all this and do all that. Ian White would throw a ton 80 and then he wouldn't even do the little hand up. He would just go grab his darts like he'd done it before.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be one of those things that the PDC is going to have to look at after the tournament and, maybe have to talk to a couple of people. But at the same time, it's supposed to be entertainment.
Well,
and the players are going to have to just sort of go along with it.
Doesn't that go towards keeping the game moving though? I mean, you're going up to
you need
to the line to throw, and
every leg you need a few extra seconds so they can reset the scores.
Yeah.
Right. So, or what we would say, wipe the board.
Yeah.
I mean, so you need a little bit of gap in there. But to be honest with you, I think there's more and more gamesmanship with that kind of grandstanding this year than I remember from last year.
All right.
So I don't know. So Hybricks did play really, really well. Hybricks was really dialed in on the 20s, and he was bringing it. And Ian White mentally seemed to falter.
Yeah, they both threw high 93s. So
yeah. Well, the scoring was pretty good. There was some some doubles missed that you kind of were thinking, God, he's throwing so good. How could he miss a double by that much? But that was the name of that tune anyway.
Dean Winstanley wins 4-3 over Darren Webster.
Yeah. What was the set? The score in the last set there? Was it 4-2?
2-4, yeah.
Yeah. So at 2-2, you go to sudden death and you have to win by 2. And I don't know. Darren Webster, I had a long talk with him. He's such a great guy. He's working so hard at it. That had to have been crushing. That had probably up to that point, that's the most crushing defeat that anyone has suffered in the entire tournament. Was him losing to Winstanley. I think so. I think that he'll probably take it harder than anybody else has.
He's only 30% on his out, so
yeah. Well, and when the other guy's close to 50, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who had more shots at doubles?
Oh, Webster.
There you go.
By 4.
Yeah,
but still.
Well, when you're only you only lose by 2 legs.
Yeah, he hits 5 more doubles than you, and guess what?
I mean, it's really a lot of the matches. The averages. Yeah, everybody's kind of in the 90s.
Plus, Webster gave up 6 breaks to throw, though. That's
Well, again, timing is everything, right? It's a lot of guys break the guy's throw and then go up to the line and start out with a 41. I mean, it's not a break until you hold.
Right, okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
And there's a little more of that this year than I remember from last year. I don't know, as far as the breaking back and stuff.
And then, of course, Phil Taylor makes short work of Mark Webster. 4-zip.
I don't know. Mark Webster, I have never liked his game. I've never liked his stroke. I've never liked him as a player. And then he would win, and I'd be like, how on earth is this guy winning? And then he beat Taylor at the World Championships, and I'm like, he found some magic for half an hour and got by Taylor. But, I mean, now he's working on his rhythm and all this. I mean, he's a mess. So if what was it we said last year, it's not the kind of tournament where you find your game.
Right.
You have to bring your game. Yeah. If you're trying to find your game there,
you're in trouble.
Against Phil Taylor on stage, on television.
Mm-hmm. This is the result.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what
happens. Short work,
yeah.
I believe, is the technical term for that.
Adrian Lewis beat Keegan Brown 4-2.
Now, that would be the only reason that wasn't more crushing, because Keegan Brown played so well, was because they were both really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they both enjoyed, and they both played well. And so in the end, Keegan Brown made Adrian Lewis throw 10 darters and 11 darters, and so he did. And, toward the end, Keegan, being young, I don't know if he got tired, mentally tired or something, his game started to slip at the end, but he proved that he has what it takes to win a big match against a two-time world champion. So Keegan Brown walks away happy.
Yeah.
Right? Cristo Reyes is going to walk away from the tournament happy. Kim Heibricks today is all happy. He's self-delusional, but he was happy. And, Darren Webster's not going to be happy. Darren Webster's not going to be happy.
Right.
So that's why I was saying it was a really crushing defeat. I was really impressed with Keegan Brown. And a lot of these young guys, Max Hopp, Keegan Brown, not so much Cristo Reyes, but I'm forgetting somebody. These young guys look so relaxed up there.
Yeah, you throw a 93, you throw 42% on your outs, and you lose 42 because
the other guy out threw you. The other guy averaged 100.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you made him bring his A game. Right? That's all you can do.
And he did. Right. As opposed to
make the guy, don't get beat by somebody's B game.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just want to, kick the garbage can or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay, so what day was that? That was day 7?
That was day 7.
You want to do day 8 and take a break, or where are we on time?
No, we should take a break right now.
All right, the breaks will be quick tonight. You're listening to Dart Talk, Mystery Mark, Steve Palanciano. We'll be right back with more of our PDC World Dart Championship wrap-up, and we'll be right back.
The views and opinions expressed on Dart Talk are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
Okay, back for the second quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. Aaron doing our disclaimers. Melissa Frank, Sam the intern, everybody else that helps with the show. We certainly appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys listening. And just a shout out, some funny stuff in the chat room from Hickory's. Good to see he's back in there. I like that. Santa used my bathroom, but I can't prove it. That's funny. Okay, so where are we? We're doing the PDC. We're on day 8
We
now.
are on day 8.
Okay, so what was the first match on day 8?
Day 8 was Brendan Dolan loses to Michael Smith 4-2.
Yeah, he didn't lose to Michael Smith 4-2. He was up 2-0, and then he was absolutely smashed.
Ooh.
Just smashed. I think, was it 12 of 14 legs?
Yeah, 1-3-0-3, 1-3-0-3. But he started out and only lost one leg out of the first 2. I mean,
this kid, when this kid gets on a roll, he's kind of a cross between Adrian Lewis and, I don't know, some sort of linebacker. I mean, he's a big kid, but he looks so relaxed and he throws so easily, and they all just go in the trip 20. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's really an impressive player. And Brendan Dolan by the end of the match was just like, you got to be kidding me. His eyes were like, from the Big Eyes movie, the guy was like just absolutely in shock that he got lit up that badly. And I don't know, Brendan Dolan, I don't know.
Yeah, he threw 98, almost 99. Michael Smith did.
Yeah, and what did Brendan Dolan end up throwing?
Almost 93.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of the averages are kind of in the middle 90s.
93s is
that used to win you a championship.
Yeah, it's like
now
standard.
You can't get out of the round of 16 with it.
Right.
I mean, it's round of 32 for that matter. So
yeah, of course, the
level of play's going up.
You have 93, but you only hit 29% of your doubles. So if you increase that to 45%, your average is now what? What would you say, 96 maybe?
Kind of depends how many you miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's going to be a big difference. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of funny. I mean, I think it was Bristow was saying, well, if you're averaging over 33% on your doubles, that means if you have 3 at a double, you hit it every time. And I'm like, well, it doesn't really work that way, but okay. So I mean, it's kind of funny how the doubles are just funny. Sometimes they just don't go in, and you don't know why. Mm-hmm. I mean, I usually know why, but every now and then I'll throw one and be like, how'd that not go in? Yeah.
Vincent Vandervoort wins 4-0 against Max Hopp.
I want to nickname him the Klutz, but it doesn't really...
The Klutz? Yeah. Vandervoort?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd like that very much.
He might not, but he looks really klutzy. When he stands at the line, just the way he leans and his posture and his arm angle and where the dart is pointing, he looks really klutzy. But he plays so well. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, calling Boris Kretschmar the creature is probably not wise to say that to his face, but he looks a little klutzy. That's all I can say. I mean, he's been playing. He's having a great tournament. He's playing really great, and if you listen to the interviews, you could probably get him online. He doesn't lack any confidence. For a guy that's never really come close to winning this thing, he's convinced he can go up there and average 100.
Well, he's got to do better than the 90.5 that he did to beat Max Hopp. But
yeah, Max just didn't seem to have anything going in. And he kind of lost confidence, relatively early in that match, that it just wasn't going his way. And Vandervoort was just like scoring like a madman.
Yeah. Well, Vandervoort missed 28 doubles.
Yeah. Well,
that's not going to get it done.
It's not going to get you to average 100.
Right.
But, again, he had plenty of chances to hit doubles because Max was, back in the 200s a lot. So not a very compelling match, but, Max Hopp, I don't know, he'll be back.
Raymond Van Barneveld wins 4-3 over Jamie Caven.
Yeah, I always root for Jamie. And, Raymond has become this enigma. He's like, you never know, mentally where he's going to be at. And, Caven really pushed him, but...
the numbers say he should have won.
Yeah, but see, Raymond, hits stuff at the right time. Mm-hmm. And then, at the end there, Caven just fell apart. the last two legs, he hit maybe 2 triples or something. I mean, it was kind of weird. There's a lot of final sets where one guy just absolutely lost it and then got crushed, and that happened actually today. So, yeah, it wasn't the first time.
Right. Then Stephen Bunting beats James Wade.
Yeah, James
4-1.
Yeah, James Wade showed up wearing the James Wade mask.
Yeah, that's.
But to be honest with you,
he turned into James Wade.
I don't know. I didn't look at the odds being updated, but I would have to think that Stephen Bunting is like maybe second favorite.
Oh yeah.
If you go up, based on the way that they played, like up to now in the tournament. I don't think anybody's averaging higher than Bunting, and I don't think anyone's playing better than Bunting. I mean, his first round match was not stellar, but this match was, and the match that he played today was pretty good. So he's averaging like 93, and he's getting better every round. And it's always been my contention when you play events like this is you have to play better every round if you want to win.
Sure. Well, that makes sense.
So
and
he's
your
doing
opponents
it.
Are getting better.
He's one of the guys that's doing it. So that was kind of
Van Gerwen beats Terry Jenkins 4-1.
Yeah, there goes there goes my sentimental favorite. I mean, Michael's just like, whenever he needs it, he hits it. He seems to be waiting until he has to hit that extra gear, and then he hits it.
Yeah. Terry throws almost a 97 and only wins one set.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Again,
he was 66% on his doubles, so I mean.
But he only had a shot at 15 doubles. I mean, that's how well Van Gerwen scored.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird. It's like when you're behind every leg, and then you're behind every set, and the other guy keeps throwing ton 40s. I mean, it starts to get frustrating, and you start to press, and that's when the ton 40s become tons, and the tons become 60s.
Mm-hmm.
That little extra pressure that you're putting on yourself because you're anticipating the other guy doing something.
He's going to throw a ton 40. I got to throw a ton 80.
That's all self-induced pressure.
Sure.
Right?
It's hard to get away from, though.
Well, yeah, it's easy. Expect it. Well, this guy's going to hit stuff. I'm going to play my game, and I'm going to hit more. And then you don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that easier to say than to do?
Oh, it's way easier to say than do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's attitude. Attitude's a lot.
Sure.
You look at the attitude of Cristo Reyes. If you planted his brain into Michael Smith's skull, would you have a winner? Would he have won today? I mean,
well,
he's got Michael Smith has Jay Cutler body language in Chicago for people that aren't around here. Apparently, it doesn't matter how you play quarterback. What matters is your body language.
Yes, right.
And if you don't have good body language, you're not a good quarterback. That's what the media says. That's the extent of football analysis in Chicago. That's how bad it is here.
Same with the head coach too. If you're not fiery and you're just so ho hum, that's what Lovie Smith syndrome was.
No, but Lovey was fiery in the locker room.
Well, sure, but nobody
His
knew it.
press conferences, the guy, it was like the guy
was
on
stick,
lewds.
yeah.
He was a total Rex is our quarterback.
Right.
And then in the locker room, I mean, guys would be covering their ears from what I hear. But this guy, okay, we're going to have a team prayer. Get here at 9. The game starts at 12.
Yes.
Get here at 9. Team prayer will be wrapped up at 10:30.
But anyway, yes, body language does.
Yeah.
And from a media standpoint, it goes a long way. Apparently.
Well, I mean,
apparently you have to be like a robot, like everybody else, and you have to do it this way. Otherwise, it just doesn't work.
Well, there's a couple of guys that have notorious sort of bad body language, and Wade's not the worst. I would have to say Van Barneveld's pretty bad. His body language, sometimes he's just holy cow. But this Michael Smith guy is like, he's worse than I am. I have terrible body language. I throw ton 40s and I'm mad because,
because you wired it out.
How did I miss that third dart by so much? And I grab the darts and I come back looking grumpy, and it's like
a ton 40, dude.
What's wrong with you, dude?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, perfectionist maybe.
Robert Thornton, easy win, 4-0 over Benito Van de Pas.
Yeah. Boy, is that guy tall.
Who, Benito?
Yeah. That's all I can say about his game. I mean,
he's very tall.
He looks like he's got this weird posture and this Dexter look on his face, and he's a great player, but I don't know. He couldn't.
How tall is he? Oh, like 6'8"?
Well, when he I don't know how how raised that platform is, but literally he goes to get his darts and his eyes are level with the double 20.
Oh.
He's pretty tall. But I mean, the platform's a couple inches tall, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking he's got to be, I don't know, 6'7".
Wow.
6'6", something like that. He's tall. Doesn't seem to help him. So, yeah, Robert Thornton beat him easily. I mean, Robert Thornton has had like a decent draw. And, he's just going about his business, la-di-da-di-da, and, playing pretty well. I like his stroke. If you look at Robert Thornton, his stroke is about as natural as you're going to find. And it looks like nice and relaxed, and is somebody worth emulating, especially if you're not a tall guy.
Mm-hmm. If you're not Benito.
No, he's got he looks pretty simple. Very simple stroke. He always looks relaxed to me. I think he's got a temper. Like there's something burning, down there.
There's a fire burning below.
Something burning down there. All right, on to the next day.
That would conclude day 8.
That would conclude day 8. Okay. Where are we on time?
We're right on the hour if you want to.
Okay, we'll take a real quick break, and we'll be back for day, whatever it is. The next day, the following day. Listen to Dart Talk Mystery Mark, Steve Franz-Yeoman. Everybody in the chat, we will be right back.
Dart Talk agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Hey, back for the second half of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Kind of a witty chat room tonight. These guys are cracking me up. Who logged in as Cricket 101?
I don't know.
I was laughing about that. That was pretty funny. And then we got it out of order, so we got to go.
For those of you paying attention, we just did day 9.
Yeah, we did day 9 instead of day 8, so we'll do day 8 now. It doesn't really matter.
I have to yell at our intern for that.
Sam!
Giving me day 9 when we're supposed to be on day 8.
I tell you, these kids, these high school kids, they can't count to 10. Brutal. So what
All
was?
Right, well, let me see if I could. Let's start with day 8. Okay, here we go.
Okay, who played?
Let's see. Kyle Anderson.
We did that, Andy Hamilton, didn't we?
Maybe we didn't. No.
Yeah, Kyle Anderson, and then it was.
Did we not do day 7? We didn't do day 7 then.
Well, okay. Who was day 7? Oh, Chizzy. Yeah, we didn't do Chizzy's match.
We didn't do day 7.
Yeah.
All right, so we.
Okay, we're all messed up.
It's all coming back to me now. All right. So.
Okay, so what are we?
Let's start with day 7. Day 7 starts out with Robert Thornton beating Roddy
Was this
Baxter.
Saturday?
Yes, Saturday,
okay, so
December 27th.
Did you see some of these matches?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was working.
Okay, well, the Saturday matches were over so fast. Or the first session matches were over so fast. I was astounded.
Robert Thornton 4-0, Terry Jenkins 4-0, and Peter Wright 4-1.
Yeah, the Ronnie Baxter Thornton match I thought was going to be a good one too. And to be honest, Ronnie Baxter looked to me like somebody who's like, well, he only showed up because he needed to show up to get paid. He didn't look prepared to play. He didn't look interested in playing. He was just kind of had this half smile on his face like he usually does. Like, hey, I'm playing darts on TV and they're going to pay me, so I'll throw 3 darts. Yay. I mean, he didn't look like somebody who wanted to win. Mm-hmm. And he got absolutely smoked. I mean, he just didn't look prepared to me. I have no idea if that's really true, but that's exactly what it looked like the entire time, and he played
not
really
well.
Rancid. He played rancid darts. I mean, and it was just, it's the World Championships. I mean, if you're not going to take it seriously, withdraw and let somebody else have your spot. Somebody that wants to play. It's like the dream. People are dreaming of playing in this tournament. You're going to show up and do that.
Well, then Terry Jenkins beat Lawrence Ryder, and Lawrence Ryder got nothing but donuts.
Yeah. Well, he deserved nothing but donuts. I mean, he didn't really, he didn't have anything left, apparently, after, getting as far as he did, because he wasn't supposed to get that far anyway. And, Terry played really well. I mean, Terry played sharp, and I think he missed a 9-darter. He wired the double 12. I mean, Terry played good.
Which we already know now that he has since lost, but
well, I mean, Terry, that was one of the things, I really thought this could be his year, because, the way the field was setting up and everything, and then.
All right. Peter Wright beat Ronnie Hybricks 4-1.
Yeah, and I think, Peter Wright would generally beat Ronnie Hybricks 4-1. I don't think that was a surprise to anybody, and Peter Wright seems to have peaked at the right time. Mm-hmm. He's had a decent year, and he's had some good showings here and there. But what did he make the final last year and lose to Van Gerwen? Yeah,
Peter Wright did.
Yeah, so he's got the hang of this tournament, and he's just cruising along. I mean, he's going to have a tough top 8 match, but I don't know. If I had him in a pool, I'd feel pretty good. I think I'd feel pretty good if I had Peter Wright. I think he's got a decent chance to win. I mean, somebody's going to have to get by Van Gerwen.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to have to get by Bunting. Because I think if Bunting ends up playing Taylor, I think Bunting's going to win.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I do. The way Phil played today, I think Bunting can definitely get him.
And the evening session, Chisnall loses to Benito Van de Pas.
Yeah, look at the numbers on that.
Mr.
Because,
Tall.
and here's Chizzy, who's supposedly the next big thing. And,
well, yeah, out-averaged him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he scores about as well as anyone else. I think he's a cut below, say, Anderson and Lewis and Van Gerwen. But, he makes a mess of finishes so often, I don't see how you can win.
Yeah, I mean, the stats say he shouldn't have.
Yeah,
or shouldn't have lost.
Yeah, I mean, how many doubles did he miss? 17.
17. Yeah, but Van de Pas missed 17.
Yeah,
or 27.
Well,
but somehow,
when you're 2 up and all you got to do is hold your throw, that's a rough loss. Van
Gerwen beat Sasha Stein.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Just shocking.
4-1.
Congrats to Sasha Stein for a good showing at this tournament, and move on. I mean, he's not going to beat Van Gerwen.
Right.
He could have 4 darts and not beat Van Gerwen, I don't think. I just think Van Gerwen's in a place right now where if you throw a ton 80, he's going to throw a ton 81. I mean,
it's just somehow.
It just, yeah, that's what it seems like. If it's the 5th leg, he'll do it somehow. If you throw a 9-darter, he'll throw 6. I mean, you get that impression watching him play. That's how much confidence he has. It's really kind of remarkable.
Gary Anderson beat Yelly Clausen 4-3.
Yeah, and Yelly was up too. I mean, Anderson showed some bottle, and got by Yelly.
Yelly threw an average of 100.
Yeah,
and loses. Whew.
You're up 2 sets to nothing. You average 100 and lose. How well did your opponent play?
Yeah, 103 and almost 50% is out. So
Gary Anderson
pretty
at
well.
50% of his doubles.
14 ton 80s.
Yeah, that has to scare the heck out of everyone. if Gary Anderson's going to average 50% on his doubles, he can win. He can win. He just so seldom does that. Right. But he had to in this match, and it's kind of funny. Maybe that Kirchner match woke him up a little bit. I mean, he didn't play anywhere near his best against Kirchner, but Kirchner had him in trouble. If Kirchner hits that one, was it double 11 or whatever? Yeah. He's in huge trouble. Mm-hmm. And maybe that was a little bit of a wake-up call, because I remember the interview after, and they were asking kind of what you were going to do, and a lot of guys say, well, I'm going to have my Christmas dinner and sit around and enjoy my family. And he's like, nope, taking tomorrow off, and I'm back on the board, and I'm going to be hitting it.
Right.
So it's kind of funny. I mean, Scotty, not deliberately, but might have done Gary a huge favor, with that thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes day 7.
Okay. So
we
what's
are now
left?
Up to day 10.
That was today.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
we have stats on the afternoon matches. We don't have stats on the evening matches.
Yeah, because they don't have them done in time.
We have the totals. So but in the afternoon, Peter Wright beat Andy Hamilton 4-0.
4-0. And how many legs did Hamilton even win? Like 4?
4. 3-1, 3-2, 3-0, 3-1.
And what did Hamilton average? I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
102.
Wow.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Hamilton threw 90.
Yeah.
Peter Wright threw 102.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
And that's kind of,
and 50% on his
and that's what you're going to see in the rounds coming up. It's like these 93, 94s are not going to fly. No, the guys that are left now, I'd be shocked if you could win one of the matches. And they're taking tomorrow off, and they're back with the top 8 on New Year's Day. They're going to have half the top 8 New Year's Day, the other half of the top 8 Friday.
Okay.
And then they have the 2 semis on Saturday and the final on Sunday, for those of you keeping track with your scorecard at home. So, yeah, I'm going to be shocked if somebody wins a match not averaging 100, starting on New Year's Day. And, Andy Hamilton, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be interesting to watch next year, because he can go either way. He could drop out of sight or, kind of recommit himself. He strikes me as somebody that needs 8 hours a day on the board. And he's not going to, yeah. Well, to be honest, these guys that play the Premier League, they're, it's kind of the only way I'd compare the PDC to America is that the first few months of the year are very busy tournament-wise. Mm-hmm. You got all these UK Open qualifiers and stuff like that, and the Premier League guys have a hard time getting around to everything. So for the guys that are not in the Premier League, they can make a little hay and work on their order of merit. And if Hamilton has a bad first half of the year, I don't think you're going to be seeing much more of him. I think he's going to go the way of some of these other guys.
Then Gary Anderson beats Cristo Reyes 4-1. So apparently he's rolling now.
Yeah, Cristo didn't have it today, and Gary Anderson, must have averaged.
Cristo threw 98.
Oh, 98? Oh, I didn't think it was that high.
Gary Anderson happened to throw 104.
104 and 42% on his doubles.
Yeah. Well, Reyes was 58%.
Yeah, but he only had 12 shots at a double in an entire match. That's pretty flawless scoring, and that's the thing about Anderson. I mean, when Anderson's on it, I don't know anyone that outscores him. I really thought he should have won a couple years ago. The way he was scoring.
Impressive.
Him and Adrian Lewis, I just could not believe how dialed in on the Trip 20s they were. I've never seen anything like it, even with Taylor. I mean, Taylor's a ton 40 machine and throws a lot of, ton 77s, ton 37s, what have you. But, I mean, these guys are just pumping in ton 80s where it looks like you could fit 12 more darts in there. I mean, it's really – and that's what Bunting does. Bunting's Trip 20s are so close together. It's I'm astounded.
Cristo Reyes shoots 98. He has to feel pretty good, and he didn't even sniff it.
Yeah, well, that's again, you're shooting 98, but you're barely shooting at a double. That's an inflated average. Because once you start shooting, you don't get a whack at a double, and when you do, that's where you end up shooting 90, 91, 92, right? If you take 2 shots at 40, and you hit it, your average goes down, even though you won the leg.
Right.
So, some of the wipeouts, the average is a little bit deceptive. That's why you have to look at how many shots they had at a double.
Right. Dean Winstanley loses to Vincent Vandervoort, 2-4.
2-4, and but Cristo should be extremely happy, and,
I bet
all
is.
his Spanish peeps should be delighted how well he did. And it'll be interesting to see if what he does after this. He may just go back to playing soft tip, and if he doesn't win the qualifier in Iberia next year, he won't be back.
Right.
I don't see him going out on the PDC tour and succeeding. But it was fun watching him play.
Okay.
So
Vandervoort wins 4-2 over Winstanley.
Yeah, I wonder if Winstanley is an underachiever. I mean, I remember him coming over, and I was really thinking he'd be closer to where Bunting is than Bunting is now. I really thought when Winstanley came over, he was going to be threatening the top 32 after a year and stuff like that. He hasn't really done that. And he qualified for this, and he's done okay. But I mean, if you look at his numbers against Vandervoort, I mean,
no, they're just okay.
Yeah, there's nothing earth-shaking.
Right.
Probably the worst averages of the day that you saw.
Yeah,
there,
probably. Right.
And 9 more shots at a double Vincent had.
Mm-hmm. And he hit 5 more.
8-ton 80s.
Yeah.
15-ton 40s. I mean,
8 for Winstanley, but yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He probably needs more time on the board. If you could throw 10 180s and 8 180s, then you ought to be able to throw a lot more ton 40s too.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird. These guys that if their first start misses, then the other 2 invariably miss. They need more time to work that out because they certainly have the ability, I would think. It's hard.
Well, yeah,
I mean, you can't tell.
So.
Yeah, it's hard to tell how much preparation these guys. You would like to think that they're all like doing nothing but practicing, for this tournament. But it's weird. You get like a week off between matches. How do you spend that week? You got
it's Christmas.
Practice buddy, and it's Christmas. You got family, grandkids, whatever.
So then in the evening session, we have no stats for, but Van Barneveld beats Adrian Lewis 4-3.
Yeah. That's just a shake my head kind of match because Adrian Lewis was pretty much outplaying him. It's 2-2 in the first set. Adrian Lewis is on his throw, and Van Barneveld gets to throw 6 darts and loses the set. And, it was kind of funny. I mean, Adrian did some grandstanding after that, and, Raymond kind of, walked him off stage with a smile, put an arm around him. I mean, they seem pretty friendly. I don't know. It's hard to draw. Where do you draw the line? Are you rubbing it in, or are you celebrating a fantastic achievement? I mean, you could argue that either way, I suppose. It was actually kind of funny. Adrian Lewis is just kind of like, huh. But he actually said in an interview that he thought he was going to throw a 9-darter because he was, so dialed in or in such good rhythm or whatever. And he's basically. It was weird. There was like 2 legs. Kind of in the middle of a set where they both missed, 6 or 7 darts at a double and ended up on double 1 and all this. And
really?
Like, well, yeah. I mean, it was weird. And then, it gets to, what did he miss? He missed 88? Did he miss 88? He had, I guess it was he missed 88. He had, right. He had 88. He threw a fat 20, dead center, top wire. And then went for the 18, threw a triple, left double 7, and missed it by a barrel.
Really?
A barrel low.
Mm-hmm.
And Barneveld took out, I think, 40 to take it into the last set. And then in the last set, all of a sudden, Adrian Lewis is throwing 59s. And Barney's throwing like ton 40s and ton 80s. So, I mean, the last set went easy. Van Barneveld broke him in the first leg and then threw, I think, 13-darter in the second leg. He's up 2-0. And it was, taxi for Lewis. But if you looked at the match with no audio and only occasional looks at the score, you'd be convinced that Adrian Lewis had already won.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just kind of weird. It was like, miss 1 double here, 1 double there, and all of a sudden it's tied. And then, credit to Raymond, everybody, wonders about his mental, I'm calling him an enigma, But, mentally, when push came to shove, the guy's a champion.
Yeah.
And Adrian Lewis did not play like a champion in that last set. He played like somebody who was convinced he was going to lose and then proved it. It was kind of weird because this is really, I always think of this as like the ideal format for him, for Adrian. And it just didn't happen. So Raymond goes through. All the Vans go through.
All the Vans, right.
Van Devort and
Look at
Van
this,
Gerwen.
I have stats now.
Oh.
They've updated.
Oh, what do they got? 90s?
Adrian Lewis threw a 97.5 and lost to a 92.
Right, because he hit stuff at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And they both averaged.
He had 50 shots at a double and only hit 16.
So he had 10 more shots at a double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's kicking himself.
And missed them all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of sad.
And then you have Phil Taylor beats Kim Hybricks 4-3. Tough match.
Well, that match kind of shows you where Taylor is now compared to where Taylor was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, if Phil Taylor went to a player and said, "Thou shalt not grandstand on the stage with me," he would have been obeyed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now it's kind of like, yeah, Phil, well, I'm gonna do what I feel like I should do. It's kind of weird. It's sort of like, not so much the bloom is off the rose, but 8-9 years ago, the players, it was like there was Phil Taylor and then everyone else, and it really isn't like that anymore. It isn't just Phil anymore. Now it's like Phil and Gary and Van Gerwen, and it's just different now. So I was I was watching closely, and I don't know what to make of Hybricks. I mean, it looked to me like he was grandstanding, but he was also playing extremely well. And it was for a while, after it was 2-2, it looked to me like they were both kind of sloughing off on the other guy's throw. And push comes to shove, though, Taylor's game doesn't taper off like you see these other guys that lose in the final set where all of a sudden they're throwing 59s. Taylor doesn't do that.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to beat Taylor. You're not going to beat him with that.
You're going to have to throw 100.
Yeah. And were they both average? Did Taylor average 100?
Yeah. 102.
Did he really?
102. Kim Hybricks was 96.9.
And who had more whacks at a double? 27 to 35?
Yeah, Phil did.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it was a weird match. The first 4 sets, it was 2-2. I think Hybricks might have had a higher average than Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And then he couldn't keep it up, couldn't sustain it. I wasn't too pleased with Hybricks' post-match interview. It was kind of funny. Usually they don't interview the loser. They just interview the winner, and then they're talking to Hybricks, and he's over there saying, "Oh, he did great. He's the better player," and la-di-da-di-da. And I'm like, dude, you just lost.
Yeah.
You think you're a better player and all this other stuff. I'm like, you might want to, rethink some of that stuff. But he played, is the best I've seen Hybricks play. So I know he had that great tournament, a while ago, and he was in good form coming in. But I don't know. I liked the way he played. I didn't like what he did, after he hit whatever he hit, I didn't find that entertaining. I guess if you're Belgian, you would, but.
Okay.
I don't know how many fans he's got. I mean, it struck me as it's weird. I mean, it's like, the NFL outlaws sack dancing and all this stuff.
Right.
You're going to cross the line where, who was the guy who,
when somebody's going to chuck a dart at you and stick it in the back?
Who hid the cell phone in the goalpost?
That was Terrell Owens.
Was that Terrell Owens? I mean,
so.
At some point you're crossing the line. Spontaneous whatever is fine, but if you're going to bed thinking, I'm going to take out a 141, and then I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that,
right.
or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that.
Take out the Sharpie or
like,
whatever.
Give me a break. Go grab your darts.
Stephen Bunting wins 4-2 over Michael Smith.
I'm dying to see Bunting's average. Bunting was playing great. He was just playing great. Everything was going in. No adversity.
They both did.
Yeah.
They
That's
both
the funny thing.
102.
They both averaged 102?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 24 shots at a double to 36?
Yeah.
So extra 12 shots at a double. Yeah. Wow. How many 1080s they both have?
8?
Yeah, I mean, they were just flying them in. And Smith had come back from 2-0 and just drilled Brendan Dolan, and he kind of started doing the same thing to Bunting. The difference was Bunting just kept hitting. And it just became this monotonous string of ton 40s where nobody was going to miss. At one point, they're playing a leg on Bunting's throw. They're both under 100 after 9 darts. Bunting takes out a 90, and Smith is just like, what the heck? I was on 76. I mean, so, you out-threw him, but he went first. So timing is everything.
Right.
And the guy's going to throw a 12-darter on his throw. Go start the next leg. You're not going to beat him. So Smith will be back. I mean, he'll learn from this.
Yeah, he played really well.
He's come so far so fast. What is he, like 22, 23? And in order to beat him, you got to be a world champion who throws 105. Everybody else is toast. I mean, they should put him in the Premier League, both those guys. Smith and Bunting should be in the Premier League for sure next year. You got, Van Gerwen and Taylor. You got Barney. They could drop Whitlock. I mean, Whitlock may want to just, I don't know, go back to Australia for a while and work it out. I mean, he's been slumping and had a terrible tournament, played terrible. So, I don't think anybody's going to miss him in England anyway. I mean, I don't know if the TV audience in Australia, they want an Australian, but Bunting and Smith, I definitely see those guys as good Premier League material. Okay, so that gets everybody up to date. So the bracket, so what's coming up, we'll get real quick. We'll tell you what the final, what the rest of the matches will be. Then we'll take our last break and we'll do our honors for the year. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay, so the Michael Van Gerwen, and then you could tell me who's going to win these. That'll be fine. Michael Van Gerwen is going to play Robert Thornton.
Well, I got to go with Van Gerwen.
Really? Based on...
And he's the number 1 player in the world.
And Thornton's not? You go with the chalk?
Yeah, I'm going to go with chalk on this one.
Well, I can see...
You sound shocked.
No. I mean, I can see it's possible that Robert Thornton can win that match. I just don't think it's likely at all.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right, so we both like Van Gerwen there. Peter Wright and Gary Anderson. Who you like?
Well,
there?
I guess the way Gary Anderson's taking his outs, you got to like him. He's throwing well. Well, they're both throwing well, but
yeah. See, that's the thing. They're both throwing so well. Pick them. Anderson's going to be maybe
Anderson
favored.
Just for
I'll take Wright then.
Okay.
If you want Anderson, I'll take Wright. He's my favorite.
Tough matches that he's played, I think he's...
Well, and he did it last year, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, he made the final last year, right?
Peter Wright
did,
right.
Yeah. So... Okay, Phil Taylor and Vincent Van de Voort. The power.
I'll take Phil.
The power. You want Phil?
Yeah.
I don't want to take a klutz. I don't want to take a klutz. He's a nice guy too. I actually talked to him. He was in Chicago once, and I talked to him for a while. He's a nice guy. He just looks so klutzy. I'm not taking him. I'll go with Phil there. And then the last one is Raymond Van Barneveld against Stephen Bunting.
Well, I got the way you're talking up Stephen Bunting right now. I just got to take him.
Yeah, I would have to. I don't know what the odds are going to be. I would have to say Bunting. I would have to say Bunting there. So we both like Bunting and we both like Taylor. Who makes the final between Bunting and Taylor?
Has Bunting ever beat Taylor?
I don't think so. I think he's only played him once. I don't know. I wish I had that. I wish Sam the intern would give me that information right now.
I'll go with your little theory that you think he could beat him. I'll take Bunting.
Take Bunting.
A small upset there.
I think Bunting's in better form. I think
go to the finals.
Yeah. Okay. You like Bunting there? I don't know what I would say there. I don't know. That's a tough one. You know what? Okay, and then we'll come back to that. And then who did you take? You took Anderson.
Yeah.
I took Wright. We both like Van Gerwen. So who makes the final out of these 4? Van Gerwen, Thornton, Peter Wright, and Gary Anderson. Who makes final?
Well,
yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
Chalk would be Van Gerwen.
Of course.
He'll be favored against all of them.
Right.
Yeah. If he plays Wright, that's a rematch of the semi last year, which didn't go well for Wright at all.
The semi or the final? It was a rematch
of the final. It was
the
final. Yeah, it was a rematch of the final.
Right, not the semi. Right.
Well, they'll play in the semi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I guess I'll take Van Gerwen up against Bunting for the championship.
Van Gerwen and Bunting. Okay, and then who wins?
Yeah, since Van Gerwen won it last year, I'll root for Bunting, so I'll say Bunting.
Yeah, I think MVG is going to be the betting favorite, and if Taylor gets knocked out, he's probably going to be a heavy favorite.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The only question I have about Bunting is, when it comes to playing like the really top guys, it looks like he can't bring his A game. He looks relaxed playing people he's confident he's going to beat, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're, playing somebody isn't, at your level and you just crush them. That's what Bunting seems like to me. But then when he's playing these other guys, it's like kind of a different – there's the comfort level's not there. It'd be something for somebody to hold Lakeside and the PDC championship at the same time. That'd be a heck of an achievement.
Yeah.
I'll take Van Gerwen.
All right.
I'll take Van Gerwen. I'm going to root for Phil, but I'm going to take Van Gerwen. And I'll root for Peter Wright.
Okay.
And
fair enough.
So that's where we're at. So we'll take one more break, and we'll get on with our outstanding player and player of the year. Listen to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, Ponce-Elman, and we will be right back.
Hello.
You are now and forevermore warned that you consume this show at your own risk, and that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the grand spaghetti monster of the Triple 20.
Okay, back for the fourth quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Thanks, Jeff Dotson, for our bumpers. Funniest chat room I've seen in...
It's been a while, yeah.
I mean, usually I can't even make it. For some reason, you got the laptop where I can actually read some of this stuff. You guys are cracking me up. A lot of different... Not really a consensus on who's going to win. Everybody's got their favorite. It's going to be fantastic matches. For anybody that can get on. And
I don't think anybody said Van Gerwen.
Get on and watch these matches. This may be, starting on New Year's Day, this may be the best darts you'll ever see. This may be the best championship that they've had. I mean, everybody seems to be playing really well.
Times to start our time.
About 1 in the afternoon Central, so about noon on the East Coast. And look online. Look for a link online. Somebody will have it. You guys know know how to find that stuff. All the European betting sites will probably have it. Get a good pop-up blocker.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, there's nothing like watching great players play great against each other for a long time.
Right.
The format moves up. Now you got to win 5 sets in the top 8. You got to win 6 sets in the semi. That's going to be Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
The Saturday semis could be the best semi day they've ever had. Sometimes the final's a little anticlimactic. It's like the Super Bowl. You work so hard to get there. It's just sort of like some teams don't really have much left, especially teams that didn't have a bye. So the finals have been anticlimactic at times, but like last year's was a little anticlimactic. It was pretty obvious what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I think Wright got 3 sets, 7-3, it was never really – the outcome was never really in doubt. But it's going to be great. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. So what are we doing first here? You want to do outstanding player?
Yes, I think that is first on the list.
So Dart Talk's outstanding player of 2014,
mm-hmm.
the nominees were – we'll go one by one.
Alex Reyes.
All right, Alex Reyes was nominated for back-to-back cricket wins in Virginia Beach and Nashville,
mm-hmm.
something like that. And then, okay. But does cricket count?
No.
Okay.
I thought
Sorry,
we,
Alex,
I thought we
just
determined
kidding.
that no.
Okay. So, he's probably going to get marked down for the cricket. Okay, so Alex was a nominee. He had a really good year. He really did. He had a good year. These Texas guys, Soldier and Alex and Ram Guevara, I thought had, probably...
Who was also on the list, by the way. Ram Guevara was
great.
Could be the next...
The Texas
next
guys really tore it up
mm-hmm.
this year, at least on the Diddle Tour. And they did pretty good in the Americas Tour, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're in the money everywhere. So if you were going to take a 3-man team from any state, and you took those 3 guys, I don't know what
good luck
state was gonna beat them
right
with 3 guys. You get Scotty Kirchner, Benny Dersch, and somebody else from Wisconsin. You get from Illinois. Get me.
Is there anybody from Illinois?
Me, Ray Carver, and somebody with
Ray.
A pulse.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It'd be tough. It'd be a very tough team to beat.
Yeah.
Get Scotty Burnett, Chris White, and somebody else from California, Howard Myers. I think the Texans would be favored there. We can get a good 3-man team out of Carolina.
I believe you.
Well, did Dan Naylor get nominated for winning the ADO?
No.
Oh, sorry, Dan.
He was not on the nominations.
But congratulations
Elliot
anyway.
Milk was also nominated.
Now, and right, Elliot Milk played a PCS match in January and averaged 95.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if Elliot can do it, other guys can do it. We had guys playing under less than ideal conditions, trying to work these matches in between this event and that event, and some of them didn't come off, and what have you. But 95 at the air cap was pretty good. He played all day. He played like an ADO qualifier, so he played 21 competitive legs warming up for that match. Let that be a lesson to you people.
Yeah, exactly.
A real good warm up is to go play somebody for money on the side.
Mm-hmm.
That'll get you ready for these little Diddle Tour tournaments. So Elliot Milk was nominated. Alex Reyes was nominated. Who else?
Ram Guevara. We said Darren Young.
Ram Guevara was nominated for an 11-dart deciding leg win over Soldier in a PCS match in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
11-darter. I mean, it's tough to beat.
Right.
I don't think Soldier was too happy about it, if I remember what I was hearing after that match.
Darren Young is on the list.
Well, now Darren won the Darts Live in Japan, and then won the big NADC in Michigan. So he won the biggest steel tip tournament in America, and the biggest soft tip tournament. There's 5 of them, but he won one of them. He won the only one he went to, I think. I mean, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so Darren, and then who else?
We had one more, and the name is escaping me.
We had Darren. We had Ram. We had
Elliot.
Alex.
We
had Alex.
I know
Sean Narain.
Sean Narain. Sorry, Sean.
Right, Sean Narain. Sorry, Sean. Sean was nominated. He had 2 runners-up in the Darts Live World, and then also, did well in the PDC. Played some PDC events, was in the money, had some good matches. He didn't win, but, who else went there?
Right.
Right, so, all right. Sorry, Alex. Cricket doesn't count. So Alex is out.
By default?
And Ram and Elliott only played 1 match. Even though it was a long format, pressure-packed, high energy, what have you, exhibition match. I would have to rank winning or I'd have to rank Darts Live events as tougher.
Yeah.
So now we're down to Sean and Darren. Runner-up versus 2 runners-up versus a 1 win.
2 runners-up versus a 1 win.
Well, Sean had 2 runners-up in
well, it's all about winning.
Well, Darren was 1 for 1, and then Darren did better in the steal. So that's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough. I mean, was Sean last year's newcomer of the year, or was he like the year before?
I think that was 2 years. No, maybe
How
it was
long have
last.
we been doing this show?
No, that was last year.
Was he newcomer of the year last year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And Darren was player of the year. Oh no, Anthony was player. I don't know.
Anthony was.
What was Anthony?
We had more categories last year, though.
Well, what's your vote?
I vote Darren.
I vote Darren. No offense, Sean. Okay, so Darren Young is outstanding player of 2014. Dart Talk's outstanding player of 2014. And then we could do a drum roll for player of the year, but can you argue for anyone?
I think we've intimated over the last 3 shows where this one's going.
It was so unanimous, it wasn't even funny. Soldier Gates played better than anyone all year long. Soft tip, steel tip, didn't really matter. He played better and more consistently and won in more places and won more events than anybody else. And anybody who says that someone else deserves it is not going to convince me.
Right.
They're just not going to convince
me. Good luck.
Larry Butler had a good year. Larry Butler was everywhere and always in, top whatever. You have to consider him for player of the year. Darren didn't get nominated for player of the year simply because he didn't really play as many events as other people did. Right. But the events he did play, he did very, very well. Was he nominated? I guess
I think he was nominated.
To be honest, he was
the only
one
nominated for both.
And Callie West.
Callie West was also nominated.
It's so tough to compare, the women's events with the guys' events. The women's events are shorter. The field is smaller. So you end up playing less matches. So therefore, it's more of an achievement to win a men's match simply based on the number of darts or the number of legs you have to win. Right? But the women's field is very tough.
Yeah.
And to win all those events against all those, tough fields, you got to give her props for that.
Sure.
But Soldier just
but I just
everywhere. Everywhere he went,
the total body of work was
the total body of work was better. Wouldn't you say for Soldier Gates?
Oh, sure.
Okay. So then, big surprise. Okay, so Soldier Gates, congratulations.
He might be surprised. You never know.
Well, I'll try to get him on the phone. I don't know. I don't have his number, but if I wouldn't have gotten sick, I would have made more of an effort to find him. But so Soldier Gates is Dart Talk's
Player of
2014 Player of the Year. And good luck to everyone playing next year. I know, Ray Chesney's right around the corner. Wichita's right around the corner. It's starting up again, guys.
Yep.
The Diddle Tour. Start practicing.
Get ready. League is starting up. Are you excited for that?
Are you playing with me this season?
I am.
Are you moving on up to the east side?
I saw Joe last night. I told him to. He didn't seem very overly excited. No, I'm just kidding, Joe.
You saw Joe last night?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's he hanging out with?
The Prodigy.
Oh, the Project?
The Project, I'm sorry. The Project and a couple other guys were having a little session.
I'm glad I didn't.
A little practice session last night.
Glad I didn't go then. I was thinking of wandering over there. I'm sick. I can't be like wandering around. Now it's like 18 degrees outside. It's like horrible.
I know. Now it's cold. But yeah, so I told Joe about my intentions of playing with you and him, and I think that brought his game down a notch.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I have like literally...
Or he said I could be worse than a couple of the players on your team, so...
I don't know if they listen to the show.
And I said I could be, so...
No, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to play on the same team when we talk about the show because, at least, we get 5 minutes of league darts that are accurate.
Yeah.
And as opposed to secondhand, what happened, and then I have no idea what you're talking about or who you're talking about. It'll be easier this way. So it'll be good. So we're going to play on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't picked up a dart practically since before we went to Hawaii.
I haven't either.
So I'm going to... One of my New Year's resolutions. Did you make any New Year's resolutions?
No.
I made 3 on while I was waiting for you to wake up today.
Okay.
Mark was late.
I was late.
I
was napping.
He was napping. One is I'm going to answer my emails quicker.
Okay.
I just it's weird the way my phone works. I can't get to old emails, so I'm like, okay, I got to answer that, and then I look and it's gone because I get so many emails every day. So I'm going to do better about that, and I'm going to. One of the resolutions is I'm going to hit the board every day.
Every day.
Every day. It not
even if you just
not
walk
8
up
hours.
There and hit
no,
it.
I'm not 8 hours, but I'm going to try to throw every day
and
get back in the swing of playing. So, and then what was the third one? Oh yeah, that's number 3.
The stable.
We'll
I'm
see.
going to quit.
I'll try. We'll see. We'll see how that works. If I do quit, I pity anybody who listens to the show next week. I'm going to sound like that Mad Dog guy.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to be as calm and mellow as I usually am. Anyway, thanks everybody.
There'll be 3 cups of coffee.
I've cut back on the coffee too. I've actually done really well because I stopped using cream and now I drink less. So it's actually,
Right. Well, it's good.
I'm drinking tea now because I'm sick. But thanks everybody for listening to the show. We appreciate the support. Keep the emails coming. You can email us darttalk@gmail.com. Visit our website darttalk.us. We're on YouTube. We're on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on TuneIn.com. We're everywhere. We're on Facebook. Drop us a line, and I'll be better about getting back to people. And we will be back.
Merry New Year.
Yeah, Merry New Year. We're back to Wednesdays now, right?
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, we're back on Wednesdays starting next week. So we'll have a wrap up next week of the World Championships. I'll try to give Jimmy Witt a call and maybe get a hold of the Canadians. The Canadian women are going over to play Lakeside too.
Oh, okay.
Like Maria Mason got in, and I don't know if anyone else did. We'll have to see. So we're going to preview Lakeside next week as well as wrap up the PDC, and we'll have some PCS news, I hope. So thanks everybody. Yeah, I'm hoping. I got to get a hold of some people. Thanks everybody for listening, and we will Dart Talk to you next Wednesday. Everybody take care, and Happy New Year.